now was famously dropped off at a Delaware computer repair store last year, contained thousands and thousands of Hunter Biden's emails and texts, and tens of thousands of pictures and many videos. We're still discovering more tonight. But just hours ago, the site Breitbart.com reported on new documents that did not come from Hunter Biden's laptop. Instead, they came from a former business associate of Hunter Biden's, directly to Breitbart. The documents show that Hunter Biden and his business partners helped rich Chinese investors and members of the Chinese Communist Party obtain meetings with then Vice President Joe Biden. We know Hunter Biden, possibly Joe Biden himself, went on to make a lot of money with the help of those Chinese officials. Why isn't anyone else in the media talking about this? This isn't some made-up nonsense. It's not an October surprise. This is China, our main global rival that is overtaking us. But back to the story. On October 19, 2011, at 2:08 p.m., an intermediary emailed an associate of Hunter Biden with a pitch on behalf of something called the China Entrepreneur Club, or CEC. It's comprised of senior members of the Chinese Communist Party and other wealthy officials from China. In the email, the intermediary referred to the CEC as, quote, China Inc. He made it very clear that China Inc. wanted high-level access to the Obama White House. Quote, a group like this does not come along every day. A tour of the White House and a meeting with a member of the Chief of Staff's office and John Kerry would be great. The email went on this way, quote, not sure if one has to be registered to do this. In other words, we're not sure if it's legal. Was it legal? Doesn't sound it. But that didn't slow down Hunter Biden or his associates. The email was quickly forwarded to Devon Archer, Hunter Biden's business partner, on November 5th, 2011. On November 11th of that year, Archer wrote to Hunter Biden to tell him he had a meeting with the intermediary and that it was, quote, good. Archer added that it, quote, seems like there was a lot to do together down the line. In a separate email that same day, Archer wrote this, quote, couldn't confirm this with Hunter on the line, but we got him his meeting at the White House Monday for the Chinese folks. We got him his meeting on Monday with the Chinese folks at the White House. Okay. Turns out White House records show that the CEC indeed got the chance to visit the White House on November 14th, just like they asked. But the White House records from that day don't indicate that they met with the vice president. Today, though, Breitbart did a little reporting and found an obscure document from the CEC, accessible online, that confirms the group did have a meeting with Joe Biden. So why wasn't this meeting with the sitting vice president part of the public record? You remember the Obama White House used to brag about how it was the most transparent administration in history. Every visit was logged, unless national security would be compromised. But this visit wasn't logged, and yet it happened. So Hunter Biden delivered. What did he get in return? Well, we know that Hunter Biden went on to make a lot of money with the help of the Chinese investors he helped out. He and Devon Archer formed an investment fund backed by the Chinese government. It was closely linked to the CEC. It's not clear whether Joe Biden also profited from that venture, but other text messages obtained from Hunter Biden's laptop suggest he may have. The New York Post, for example, found an email showing that Hunter Biden may have reserved 10% of his equity stake in a Chinese company for, quote, the big guy. Another Hunter Biden text message suggests that his father was forcing him to turn over half of his salary. More documents like this are coming. We know that. We also know, we said this before tonight, this was Hunter Biden's laptop. And anyone who tells you otherwise is either ignorant or lying or both. What we don't know is when Joe Biden and Hunter Biden will have to answer questions about any of this. They won't come on this show. For now, our media is content to harass the laptop repair shop owner in Wilmington. It's always the little guy they crush. It's the beat cop, it's the one who owns the hair salon in San Francisco that Nancy Pelosi went to maskless. It's never the hedge fund manager. It's never the heads of Google. It's never the FBI. It's always the little guy. So they're hassling the guy, threatening the guy who owns the computer repair shop. But it's not clear that the hard drive he turned over to the FBI, it is now clear, is genuine. And that is a huge problem for people who have spent this week pretending it's Russian propaganda. It's not. It's real. Miranda Devine is a columnist for the New York Post. She's been on this story since the very first day. And so for the third night in a row, we're happy to have her back on. Miranda, what have we learned today from this cache of email?
Well, it's more evidence to show that Joe Biden was aware of his family's cash for influence scheme with shady companies overseas in China, Ukraine, and elsewhere. But what we also know now is that he was actively participating in that scheme by having meetings that assisted his family's activities. And you just mentioned some with regard to China. We've reported this week others with respect to other places. For instance, we have published an email showing that Hunter Biden organised a meeting between Joe Biden and the number 3 guy at the corrupt energy company in Ukraine, Burisma, which was at that point paying Hunter Biden up to $83,000 a month for the 5 years that he was on that board. So what we see is that Joe Biden is an active participant, but even more disturbing is there is evidence that that this had an impact. It warped America's foreign policy. And we know that happened in China and Ukraine. And in China, basically, Joe Biden was a point man for Obama, for America. He went easy on China. He went easy on China militarizing the South China Sea. He went easy on China ripping off America's intellectual property. In every way, China did well. America lost out, and the Biden family enriched themselves to the tune of millions and millions of dollars.
That is the nicest summation I have heard. And that's what the stakes were. This is not just a sleazy lobbying scheme. We see so many of those in Washington. They're all wrong. But this was more profound than that. This was a selling out of the country. Brandon Devine, I appreciate your coming on and summing it up for us as you did.